store. Now I'm feeling fly like a condor. Eyes on me when I walk through the door. Man, I wish I bought a couple more. Cause I really love my city. It was worth every penny. If it were at my show, then I know they gon' tip me. Think I might add a couple patches. If you think it's ugly, you capping. Now my whole outfit matching. Never going out of fashion.
Wow, what a night tonight. The Padres, they win Game 3 of the NLDS. They're up 2-1 in this series, a 6-5 win over the Dodgers. Episode 646, Talking Friars podcast and YouTube show. Ben Fadden with you here, October 8th, 2024. Got back a little bit ago from this Padres game, coming here live with you on YouTube. Thank you to everyone just ahead of time for those that are taking the time out of your day to watch this live on YouTube or on replay or listen on the podcast platforms. But let's just get right to it. We got a lot to talk about. A lot happened in this game. Obviously, there was the off the field comments and all that was going on entering the game. And I was so happy that we could just, watch a baseball game tonight and we can just talk about this baseball game tonight instead of continuing to harp on what was happening off the field with comments and all that. But man, that got too close. Oh, not too close because they won the game. All I care about is if they win the game or not. It could be the ugliest win ever, and I'm still happy, hey, they won, right? Especially when it's against the Dodgers. But Michael King giving up that grand slam, the Padres, they get on there offensively. They score a bunch of runs, and then Teoscar goes yard to center, and it's just like, oh, man, that's so deflating. Because you look up at the scoreboard, and you see how many innings are left. At least that's what I did. I was like, all right. I looked up at the scoreboard, which is directly across from where I'm sitting up in the upper deck, and I just see all of the innings that are blank on that scoreboard, just how much time the Dodgers have left. And that's out of respect to that Dodgers lineup. And this Padres bullpen, and I'll give credit to Michael King as well, because it's not like he exited the game right after he gave up the homer. He still had to go pitch a couple of innings and not give up any runs after that. So good job from him there. Gives up the leadoff homer, obviously, or second, not leadoff homer, but the homer to Mookie Betts, the first inning, which was so identical to Jurickson and Profar. I know that it's not the same setup at Dodger Stadium as Petco. So, there was more fans grabbing at it with Profar in game 2 than there was tonight. But I was seeing the replay because there was a fan next to me that had it on his phone. Shout out Wesley, by the way. That was great to meet you. And I saw that it hit off of Profar's glove. He had it. And it looked pretty similar to Dodger Stadium in terms of like him actually where the ball was in his glove. It was on the outside part of his glove. And in game 2, he was able to bring it down. Tonight, wasn't able to do it. So that obviously gave the Dodgers that lead. But then the Padres come back with a bunch of runs there in that second inning. The second inning's been kind to them in this postseason. 6 runs there. And Walker Buehler was rattled. I mean, in the upper deck, you could see how much he was sweating on his back. I know the jerseys aren't great, but he was definitely going through it tonight, which is awesome as a Padres fan. But what I loved was how much of a team inning that was. Sure, Nando had the homer, but there was a lot that led up to that. And there was a lot of just smart baseball that was being played there. Game 1, right? I came on here and talked about how the Padres, they made more mistakes than the Dodgers did. And those small little things add up. And that was a difference why the Padres lost that game. But tonight, that was the difference. You could say that was the difference here, where in that second inning, obviously the Padres, they needed all 6 of those runs. Xander Bogaerts reaches on a fielder's choice. Manny ends up scoring, and Merrill gets to second, and that's the first run of the game. But before we even get to that point, it's in the second inning, and Manny on the ground ball, Freddie Freeman gets it. Manny's running from first to second base. He runs, and I got a perfect view of it because I'm on the first base side upper deck. And I'm like, I could totally see where Manny was. And yeah, he stepped totally into the grass. At the end of the game, you could still see the marks on the infield of where Manny was running there. So yeah, he obviously was outside of the base path, but it's not reviewable. and Freddie Freeman throws it off Manny's back or off his shoulder, wherever it was, and Manny gets to third on that play. I think it was Merrill that ended up reaching, and then Bogey has that grounder, and Merrill is hustling his you-know-what off to second base to beat the throw there, and Miggy Rojas at shortstop was just being too casual with it. And again, the little things, Jackson Merrill playing like everything is on the line, which it is. Showing more urgency, showing that he wants it more than the Dodgers do. Really, that's what I saw tonight. And he gets it there, gets into second base. Manny ends up scoring there, obviously gets to third thanks to his baseball IQ. Before I came on here, I was just listening to his post-game interview with the media, and I think it was Annie Hallebrun who asked him about, were you surprised that the Dodgers didn't review that? And he was like, review what? There's nothing to review. You can't review it. And to be honest, I had forgotten about that at the time. I was like, oh, surprised the Dodgers didn't interview that. But maybe they were told. I was looking at the Dodgers dugout because I can see into the Dodgers dugout from my view. I was looking, and they were on the phone. So it seemed like they were going through the, should we challenge this or not? But maybe the video guy knew the rule and told the bench coach or whoever was on the phone that, hey, we can't review that. And so that's why they didn't, that Dave didn't even go out there. Because if I was Dave and let's say I didn't know that you can't review it, I mean, it doesn't take, literally anyone in the stadium could have saw that Manny was not in the base path. So if I was Dave Roberts, I would have immediately been out there. I wouldn't even had to look at video. Like, no, we're reviewing that. But maybe Dave also knew. He was looking back at the guy on the phone to see if he should review it or not. But yeah, that was a high IQ play. Manny was talking about how he's been doing that. He knew about that, practiced that in spring training with Buck Showalter when he was young with the Baltimore Orioles. So it's just one of those where, Manny, it's not going to show on the box score all the time, but he is one smart heck of a baseball player. And he makes things look easy sometimes that are ridiculously hard, but he's just a smart guy. So the Padres, obviously, they get their first runs there. And then David Peralta with a huge double. That if the umpires would have called Manny out there, right, for interference, which they should have, but hey, we're Padres fans, so we're happy about it, then he would have been out there. If Xander grounds into a double play because Merrill's on first base, because I think it would have been Manny that would have been out. I don't think they would have called a double play on that. But let's say Bogey grounds out, Merrill's on first. Okay, double play maybe there. And then the inning's over. You don't even get to David Peralta. You don't get that first run. So that was so huge from Manny that, the umpires obviously let him get away with it. But that was just a great job on Manny's part. Freddie Freeman said after the game that he would have done the same thing. And yeah, everyone should be doing that. If you get called out, you're going to be out anyway because the first baseman's going to throw you out at second base anyway on the double play. So why wouldn't you do that, right? So David Peralta, though, big double down the right field line, made it 3-1 Padres. Putting him in the lineup has been so huge. And then you have Solano as that option off the bench. So I love that. Higgy with the sac fly, made it 4-1. Peralta scored. And then Nando comes up. Shout out to Crony, by the way. Obviously, hadn't gotten a hit going into tonight, but he ends up getting a couple of hits. He got that ball to short. Miggy Rojas could not get Crony out, obviously. Rojas ended up leaving the game as well. But that allows Tatis to come up to the plate. And it's not just a one run. It's not just a solo homer from Nando. It's 2 runs, and the Padres end up winning by 1 run. So it literally was a team effort in this game. From Michael King settling down there to the bullpen not allowing any runs to a bunch of guys. How many guys contributed in that offensive inning? Fernando, Crony, Peralta, Higgy. That's 4 right there. Merrill, Bogarts. That's 6. Manny. That's almost the entire lineup that contributed in that second inning in some way to get those runs there. So great job from pretty much everyone tonight. Just in that inning and then the rest of the way. Teoscar hits that grand slam, obviously. Maybe not the best pitch selection when Teoscar smashes sliders. I think it was a slider. Even if like Michael King and Higgy were confident in that pitch, Obviously, it's just a bad pitch location then. But Teo obviously made the Padres pay there, hits it to center, and it's like, man, it was 6-1, and we were feeling so good. And then I don't want to say all of the energy was zapped out of Petco, but a lot of it was, because now again we're looking at the scoreboard like, holy cow, it's a 1-run game, and look how much time we have left. And we didn't know that the bullpen was going to be great the rest of the way after Michael King came out of the game. But we were coming into this game, Michael King, he just threw 7 shutty against the Braves and, dominated. So we weren't expecting him to give up a granny and it'd be a 6-5 game like that. Or, at least the Dodgers having 5 runs at that point in time. So that was a little bit of a shock there. But I can't say enough about how great of a job this bullpen did. Jeremiah Estrada, he comes in first, goes a shutout inning, strikes out a couple of guys. He hasn't allowed an earned run this postseason. Jason Adam then comes in. He doesn't give up any runs, strikes out a guy. Tanner Scott comes in. And it was great. I want to really shout out Jason Adam before Tanner Scott, because Jason Adam, he had the pressure of, hey, don't get to Shohei Ohtani or you're not going to be able to finish that inning, because Tanner Scott's going to come into the game. So they were able to not have anyone on base for Shohei coming up in that 8th inning. I think it was the 8th inning. Yeah, because Suarez came in for 4 outs. Scott comes in for the 8th inning, gets Shohei looking, which obviously we know, like, that's the guy. That was the inning right there. It was because Scott came in to face the top of the order, or to get Shohei, but then he had to face a couple of guys after that. He had to face Mookie, Freddie. Freddie, man, all respect to him. I hate the Dodgers, obviously. I hate their fans. But Freddie, I have a lot of respect for that guy. He is battling. He had a high throw to first base, and he lands on first base, and clearly he's hobbled, and he's having a hard time getting off the field. And then he's still in the batter's box, gets a knock off Tanner Scott. And I think it was, got off the knock off Tanner Scott in that situation. And then hobbling off the field with the pinch runner coming in. Like, that guy, he is really fighting through it. And I have respect for that. I don't care what team you play on. I have respect for guys that are clearly in pain, but they know what's at stake. They know their team needs them, and they're going to battle through it. So, I got a lot of respect for Freddie. It's kind of hard to hate that guy. I mean, I hate the Dodgers. I will dislike all their players, but when someone gives that effort like that, man, that's respect there. Obviously, ton of respect for someone like Joe Musgrove, who I love the ovation that he got during pregame intros today. Speaking of pregame intros, Dave Roberts, big boos, which it was very loud, and that was totally expected. Manny got a lot of love, so that was great to see, obviously. Ha-Seong Kim got a lot of love. So the injured guys getting a lot of love. That's great to see. But yeah, this bullpen. So Tanner Scott, huge couple of outs there that he did get. And then Robert Suarez comes in. Big game Bobby, huh? I know that there were Padres fans that were nervous when Suarez came in there in a 1-run game in the 8th inning. Like, because we have that thought of what has happened earlier this year. I mean, against the Detroit Tigers, when it wasn't just a 1-run lead, it was multiple runs. And there's the home run that he allows there. If there wasn't that triple play against the Dodgers, was that last week or the week before at Dodger Stadium? Ohtani was on deck. He was going to be in big trouble there. If that ball gets past Manny, that's down the line, number 1. So that would have been not great. So we just remember those things. And so Suarez comes in a 1-run game, talented Dodger lineup, big spot. What are you going to do? And he struck out a couple of guys. He was using that changeup. I was talking with a fan, obviously, that was sitting next to me. And it was encouraging. Yeah, like, I agreed. It was encouraging that he was using that changeup, and he was able to throw the changeup for a strike. So you go from getting 100 to getting 91 on a change. I think it was 91 on the changeup. That's a big difference, obviously. And I'm pretty sure the Dodgers guys are expecting fastball and then adjust to the changeup. But when the changeup's nasty and it's down the zone and you're maybe expecting fastball up, that really changes your eyesight there. That's really hard. So, yeah, Bobby, I think Robert Suarez is totally, at least for me, I have confidence in Robert Suarez again. And I'm glad that I'm able to say that because I wasn't able to say that going into this postseason, to be honest, just based on how things were going. But tonight, a lot went the Padres' way. This bullpen, I mean, AJ Preller, Mike Schilt, Ruben Niebla, lots of praise to go all around. Obviously, I have my Manny jersey on right now, but I went to Petco in my, and I still have it on underneath. My AJ Preller is a legend shirt because he deserves it this year with how all the acquisitions that he's had. Uh, I mean, this bullpen tonight. Let's go through this bullpen tonight. And the starter, Michael King, obviously with the great outing he had against the Braves, acquires him. Oh, by the way, traded Juan Soto in that deal. You have Higgy with the 3 homers, I think 3, that he has this postseason. Jeremiah Estrada, you claim him, I think, off waivers from the Cubs. Jason Adam, you acquire him. I mean, the balls on Preller this year, right? Like trading all of your top prospects essentially, right? All the touchables. Even like I wasn't expecting him to trade Lesko and Snelling, but he did that. He was like, no, that's fine. We're trying to win right now. Trades for Tanner Scott, Jason Adam, gives up a bunch in those deals. And look what they do tonight here. Robert Suarez brings him over, obviously, and then gave him a new contract going into last year, right? So AJ Preller, obviously, like his hands all over this tonight. And I know Ruben Niebla has worked with these guys, so he's got to be feeling really good with where he's at right now with his pitching staff. And then we got Dylan Cease coming up tomorrow night. Game 4, he's going to be pitching on 3 days rest. This is the first time I believe that he's done that in his career. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen. For those that I saw on social media replying when they saw that news that they didn't really like that. And for me, I'm all good with Dylan Cease starting game 4 because I want this series to be over with. If Cease doesn't perform well and the Padres lose tomorrow, would that suck? Yeah. You have to go back up to that dump in Dodger Stadium. Like, don't want to do that. But for game 5, you have Yu Darvish who just shoved. So, and then you have a bullpen coming off a day off. So, like, they're going to be in a good spot, I think, even if they don't win tomorrow. Obviously, you want to get the job done. If you have the opportunity to throw Dylan Cease, you start him over Martin Perez. You just do. And that's no disrespect to Martin Perez. He's been pitching well for the Padres, you know, he did in the regular season. He exceeded my expectations that I had for him, and I'm sure a lot of Padres fans. But you acquired Dylan Cease to pitch in these big moments like this. And I know at Dodger Stadium it wasn't his best outing to kick off the series. I get that. But he's going to have the Petco crowd behind him, and you have Martin Perez that can come in after him if he's not doing well. You have the luxury of having a short leash on Dylan Cease. There's a day off after game 4. And you have Martin Perez who hasn't thrown this series. You have other guys in that bullpen that don't have a lot of bullets or, you know, a lot of bullets used, I should say, in this round, in this postseason. So there are options. You could go with Brian Hoeing. You could go with Wandy. There's other guys you could go to. And then everyone's going to be available tomorrow in the bullpen, by the way, because there wasn't a lot of guys that were taxed tonight. Sure, all of the high leverage guys were used, but Suarez through 17, Adam through 15, Estrada through 13. Morhone actually didn't get used tonight. Hoeing, Matsui, Peralta, Alec Jacob hasn't been used this series. So there are options. And so I don't know if we should expect Dylan Cease to go 6+ innings tomorrow, but if you can pitch to that Dodger lineup a couple times through on 3 days rest and get out of there with a lead, like you did your job. Obviously the question's going to be like, okay, what sort of stuff does Dylan Cease have? What's the velocity like? But this guy throws upper 90s. I'm not really worried about it going into tomorrow. I like the Padres' chances, especially when the Padres, they're going up against a Dodgers bullpen game. You know, like I know that's a lot of arms and that's a lot of scouting that you got to do, but the Padres, I should say, they have seen these Dodgers relievers now because this is going to be game 4. They've seen a lot of these guys, especially the back end guys, and those guys are going to pitch tomorrow because the Dodgers season is on the line. So that could be an advantage for the Padres. And we've seen through this series, the Brave series, we've seen that they can get opposing pitching with the long ball, Or they can do something like tonight and just have a great team inning and put a big spot on you, and then you're fighting back big, the rest of the night. Shohei Ohtani, is he a talented player? Of course. But the Padres have proven that you can get Shohei Ohtani out. You can. Freddie Freeman, he's obviously not fully healthy. Mookie Betts, props to him. He had that homer, and he almost had one the other day as well before Profar robbed him. But you can still get Mookie out, obviously. Like, he was really struggling before this homer today and the almost homer the other day. So that's what I've got going into tomorrow's Game 4. I like the Padres' chances. Crony even had some positives here tonight. So, yeah, I'm riding with the boys. Game 4 tomorrow. A chance to close it out at Petco Park in front of your home crowd, and then you could be having home field advantage in the NLCS. The Mets are up 2-1 on the Phillies. I'm not saying that series is over because the Phillies are really freaking talented, but the Padres could be partying real hard tomorrow night, and the whole city of San Diego could. So that would be a really cool moment. Speaking of cool, by the way, Tom DeLonge of Blink-182 singing All the Small Things on the concourse during a half inning tonight. I think it was going into the 9th inning or middle of the 8th, on the concourse, walking around, high-fiving Padre fans, singing that. Like, that was an awesome moment. Jorge Alfaro, with the first pitch. That was cool. I mean, we got to bring back Will tomorrow for the first pitch, right? Unless it's Shiel Seidler or Trevor, bring back Will Myers for that first pitch. Or have Joe Musgrove throw it left-handed, or Ha-Sung Kim throw it. I don't know if he's gotten surgery yet. Something like that, but I want to see Will Myers throw the first pitch tomorrow. You bring Jorge Alfaro there. I'm sorry, Will Myers, and this is no disrespect to Alfaro, but Will Myers means more to Padres fans than Jorge Alfaro does. That would really get Padres fans going tomorrow. And we don't need the motivation, but that would be an awesome moment for Will to be able to be there again. That would be sick. All right. Enough of me yapping. Let's go to those that want to join the show. Again, if you want to join the show, click that link pinned up at the top of the chat. I will get to the chat, obviously, coming up. But thank you for your patience, all those that have been waiting. Let's go to Jackson first. What's up, Jackson? How's it going?
Good. How about you, Ben?
Great. Doing great.
I don't know where to start, but I'll only talk about a couple things because I know other people are in here. But I was watching the game on TV, and after King had the bad inning, gave up the grand slam, he got through it. He got the next two guys out. It panned over to him talking to Ruben, and Ruben was just in his ear, giving him probably some mechanical adjustments that he needed to make. And then after that, he was shut down. And then I looked at him, Savant, and we got 20 of the next 21 batters out. Only Freddie singled in the 8th inning. After that, no one else reached. So I just wanted to give credit to Ruben Niebla for obviously doing what he does best.
For sure. Yeah. I saw this from Optus Stats. The Padres retired 16 consecutive Dodger hitters following Teoscar Hernandez's grand slam. That's the most consecutive batters retired in a game immediately after giving up a grand slam in postseason history. So, yeah, they really did their job. They locked it in after that grand slam. And part of that, obviously, is Michael King settling down and getting back to being that top-level starter.
Yeah, because I was a little bit afraid because after he gave up the grand slam, he was looking a little wild, little rattled, understandably, because the 5-run lead was gone. But
yeah,
then he started pitching to contact more, and then not overthinking it, got out of the jam, and then he locked in. And then obviously Estrada came in, was disgusting. He was untouchable, and then the rest of the way the guys just picked up, and man, it was so great. But I need to say one thing else before I go. Ken Rosenthal. I'm done with him. I can't. This guy is a shill for the Dodgers. He hates Fernando for whatever reason. I don't know if Fernando has blackmail on him or something, but the way they talk about Shohei versus Fernando, you just compare the numbers. The guy has a 2 OPS right now. And he's where's my Fernando Tatis 8 batters away count? I'm looking for him to swing the bat because every time this guy's up, he's hitting 450-foot nukes.
Yeah. Well, I was being there tonight, and obviously you have a different perspective on the watching on TV. Being there tonight, I saw before the game, Ken's on the third base side. And I was like, oh, shocker. Okay. And then I see him interviewing Dave Roberts in the Dodger dugout. He never went over to Mike Schild, did he?
No, I don't believe so. No,
okay,
I don't believe so.
Another shocker. And then after the game, I see him in the camera well, by the visitors' dugout, and I see Tatis with a headset on. I'm like, who is he talking to? I go after the game, and I see that he talks to Joe Davis and John Smoltz.
Yep.
And it's like, I've never seen that before. After a postseason game that Ken Rosenthal is in the building, Ken Rosenthal is not interviewing the star player. Like, that is crazy. I don't know if it was Padres PR that shut that down, or if it was Ken Rosenthal himself saying, like,
Probably
I'm not
Ken.
going over there,
Probably
or
Ken.
what. But I guess he was in the clubhouse afterwards somehow. But yeah, like, if I was him, dude, you wrote the article, go stand up to Manny, go stand up to Fernando, And I thought it was
they might
hilarious.
respect him a little more.
Oh yeah, exactly. I would respect someone more if you actually came directly at me and you just did your job instead of going and standing there in the visitor's camera well and not coming over and doing the interview. But yeah, afterwards, Fernando on his Instagram story with the peacock emoji and dancing. Like, yeah, that's one talented peacock right there. Like, I still don't understand how that was approved. I don't know if Ken Rosenthal doesn't have an editor at The Athletic because he's their big MLB guy, so maybe they just let him write articles and he can publish them whenever he wants. But that was crazy. That was crazy seeing that today. He didn't attack just Fernando, but he attacked Manny. He attacked Profar. Yeah. Like, wow.
And I'm not kidding. On the broadcast, they were talking about how like Shohei was like 4 batters away or 5 batters away. And I'm just like, it doesn't matter. If Shohei's coming up, and Smoltz even pointed out, Robert Suarez has bigger issues than Shohei Ohtani. If he's coming up in this inning, that means he blew the save and blew the lead.
Yeah.
So, why are you talking about Shohei Ohtani when there's 3 more outs in the game and he's 6 batters away? Like, there's.
And what exactly did Shohei Ohtani do tonight that was like so amazing that they have to keep talking about it?
He got sawed off again. He got a lucky single that just flared out.
He struck out twice.
He flew out. He hit the ball hard. It actually was, I think, a homer in like 4 8 ballparks. But he hit that one to the left center that Merrill caught near the warning track.
He's hitting 231 this series. How about Fernando? Go talk about Fernando, where Fernando's hitting 556 with a 1969 OPS. Merrill has a 1156 OPS. Peralta's hitting 333. Higgy's hitting 308 with a 1390 OPS. Like, where's the Higgy's up in 4 batters graphic,
Oh, one last thing, and then I'll go. Peralta, Schilt masterclass. Solano, he was kind of slumping a little bit before the season was ending, and I was like, oh, I'm a little worried, but hopefully he can just figure it out. He's late on everything, and I get it. He's, it happens. So Schilt reading the room was like, all right, well, let's get Peralta. This guy, he line drive machine. This guy just knows how to hit too. And that homer in game 2 was massive.
Yeah.
I think that really, like, was like the thing that really pushed the Padres forward. And then obviously, boiled over in like the 8th inning. But then he hits the double that scores in Manny and Merrill. And that was just massive.
Petco went nuts. Yeah. Petco was so loud. I got home today, and before I was kind of preparing for the show, and I could I don't know how to describe it, but I could feel still my ears vibrating or ringing like from that. And that was over an hour ago at Petco. Like, it was just so loud tonight. I'm not surprised, but yeah, Padres fans, you guys brought it tonight.
Yeah, everyone stepping up, even Crony, who got a little bit lucky with the first infield single, but then he got the line drive to left field. That was legit. That was good hitting. I'd love to see him do that more because he's more of a pull hitter. So it's good to see him go the other way. But yeah, we got to bring it tomorrow because going to Dodger Stadium won't be easy. We can do it, but the Dodger fans are going to burn the stadium down if they lose. So let's just limit the damage and keep it in Petco.
Yeah, I want the Padres players to, be alive going to the NLDS. we don't need them, getting killed. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Jackson. Appreciate it, man.
Have a
Hey, dude. My voice is finally back.
That's good.
Did you have fun tonight?
Yeah, it was one heck of an atmosphere. I tried to save my voice for the show.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad you had fun. Um, I saw a tweet. Can you still hear me if I go on Twitter real fast?
Yeah, I'm actually looking right now. It looks like while you're looking up something, I'm seeing here Jorge Alfaro's agent was called by the Padres 2 days ago and was told that they want Alfaro to go throw the first pitch. So Alfaro made his way to San Diego. Isn't Will? I think Will's in North Carolina. So why not give Will a call? I'm pretty sure he'd come down, get to golf a little bit at Torrey Pines or something, and then go celebrate with Padres fans and Padre players. I think that would be pretty cool. Did you find whatever you were looking for? Oh, maybe we've lost Carter. Okay, I'm gonna go back. I'll go back to you, Carter, if you're hearing me.
I'm
I'm
back.
gonna go to. Oh, there you go. Okay, what's up?
So he said, they asked him the home run against the Dodgers, and he basically said that he definitely started that, and he said it's in his DNA. He thinks his pop like his dad, if that makes sense.
Who is this about?
It's
Fernando?
yeah, it's when they asked him on the home run he hit tonight.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then he also said he blacked out after he hit the home run.
Yeah, I bet. That's definitely a blackout moment for sure. I mean, even as a fan, I feel like I do that. Like where I just don't remember what I was doing when something happens like that. I do remember like I that Nando homer right off the bat, I knew it was gone. Like, and sometimes in the ballpark from where I'm sitting, you can't totally tell, but right off the bat, you that ball was launched. I mean, I don't know what the launch angle was on that, but that ball was hit really high, and there was no doubt that was. I mean, the left field Teoscar, I think he did like a courtesy jog, but they were that ball. He had no shot. Yeah, Nando, it's crazy that there were actually people that thought that, oh, this Padres team's better without Fernando. Look at their record without Fernando. Look at the 2022 postseason run without Fernando. Fernando is literally being Mr. October right now with a homer in the Braves wild card series, a homer, what was that, game one, and then two homers in game two, and then a homer tonight, which obviously was huge because they win by one run. So, yeah, I mean, he's playing well defensively, made that running catch the other night at Dodger Stadium. So, yeah, this guy, he's showing why he is a probably top 10 player in baseball when he is fully healthy.
That reminds me because like the beginning of the season, I just stuttered. That's embarrassing. But
No, you're good.
in the beginning of the season, um, like when we were in that stage of when we were struggling, I remember my cousin's a big Dodgers fan. So
That's unfortunate.
yes, it is. But I texted him today, but that's besides the point. So he texted me a couple. It was like when we were struggling. He goes, maybe Tatis needs his roids back, like to get back in form. And then I texted him tonight after the game, and I said, "What were you saying about Tatis last like couple months ago? Like, because he is seriously proving that he is still a good player. Like, I don't care what other people say about him. He is still proving that he is an MVP caliber player.
Yeah, and I think people forget that the dude hit an NL leading like 40 plus homers
Yeah,
in 2021 with one arm because he needed surgery on it. So, yeah, he's a freak.
he is, dude. He really is.
All right, thanks, Carter. I appreciate it,
Yeah,
man.
thanks for having me, dude.
Yeah, have a good one. All right, let's go to Vincent. He's up next. What's up, Vincent?
Hi.
How's it going?
So good. So my dad was at the game and I could see him on TV and I saw that it was an electric crowd from watching TV. And I don't know if you saw on the news recently, but they kind of explained, like the local news, they explained the whole Dodgers, fighting, throwing stuff in the field situation. What I got about it was that basically, you know, Jerkson Profar nabbed the home run. he wanted to give the guy the ball back, and the guy was like, kindly didn't want the ball back and didn't know what to do, so he threw it on the field. And then basically, then other Dodgers fans probably perceived it the wrong way, and that's basically what happened. And I think that the Padres are going to win tomorrow. I believe they are going to make it to make it to the World Series, and to me, the Padres are sort of like, reminds me of how they probably were in 1998 when they made it to the World Series. And I would say that, you know, obviously I was at Dodger Stadium, but the catch that Jackson Profar made probably is up to par with Daniel Camarena, the pitcher who hit the grand slam. I feel like that play is up to like the same level as that, and I'm wondering what I also know some Dodgers fans, and I know they're telling me like, oh, like the Padres are, like, what do you think of my well, my main question is what and well, here's one more thing I used to think of is on Twitter. I don't know if you saw this, but this is kind of funny. I want your take on this Metropolitan Transit System. Obviously, our transit agency and LA Metro from Los Angeles. You should look, and they've been posting silly things, kind of like, sort of like, trolling each other. But I just want to know, like, do you think that, I mean, what's your take on like Padres fans, trolling Dodgers fans are doing the same? Like, do you think that, the Padres and Dodgers should do something like that, as, to hype up the energy for the games, or?
Um, I don't think that the Padres and Dodgers need to hype up the energy for the games. I mean, there's plenty of it with both fan bases. The Padres and Dodgers social media accounts probably don't even have to tweet anything, and there will still be the buzz about this series. But no, if you're the Padres, they're not trolling the Dodgers, but they're trolling, like they trolled Ken Rosenthal today. I don't know if you saw on Instagram their post about the Padres winning. Um, was the caption? I'm looking at it right now. The caption was, "Who, us?" And that's trolling Ken Rosenthal because he wrote in The Athletic today about Jurickson Profar and how he's the kid at school that pulls the fire alarm and says, "Who, me?" So it was a play on that. So the Padres, they're doing a pretty good job at that on social media. And I think they're probably waiting, I assume. I know I
Yeah.
am waiting for the Dodgers to lose to really do it, because you don't want to do it in the middle of the series and then the Dodgers win and then you look like a fool.
Yeah.
So I think they're waiting for the Dodgers to officially be out and then they'll do it. I know, just sneak preview for those that follow me on Twitter. I have a bunch of Dodger bookmarks and I'm ready to let that fly tomorrow if the Padres get the win
Yep.
over the Dodgers. And I don't care what Dodger fans think. Like, I just don't care. So yeah, that's what I've got on that.
Yeah, and I have a few more things. Well, you should definitely check out our Transit MTS on Twitter to see the sort of funny things they're doing. But my thing is, what do you think about how the Padres are sort of handling, like, the ticket prices, especially with the ticket pricing? Because I looked at our World Series tickets. We're behind the play, and I can tell you they're at least a few $1,000s per seat. So I'm wondering what is your take on, like, the tier pricing for the postseason? Because I get it for the the regular season, like, like the Chicago White Sox or Athletics are coming into town. Oh, that like not as many people will go, so they lower the prices to get fans to go. But then obviously then the the postseason comes. Oh, it's postseason. We're going to jack up the prices. They're still selling out, but they're like, what is your? I would say what is your take on it for the postseason? Because I feel like there should just be. I feel like instead of doing tier pricing for the games, like, the upper deck, Toyota Terrace, field level, there should, instead of tier pricing for the actual game, just tier price the different areas in the stadium so that they can draw, right wider varieties of crowds.
Yeah, I think, and this is just the reality of it. Of course, we'd like the postseason prices to be the same as the regular season, but the reality is fans will pay whatever really the cost is to be in the building for these postseason games. And so until Padres fans, or this goes for every ballpark in the league, until they don't show up and it's not a sold out crowd, then they're going to keep the prices as high as they can, because the postseason, as we saw last year, it's not guaranteed. And these teams make a lot of money off the postseason. So, I think broadcast revenue, ticket sales, team store, concession, like all that, they make a lot of money off of it. And so it is a business. And sometimes the business part sucks, but that's the reality of it. And if Padre fans want lower prices, then it's just don't show up to the postseason games. But like, that's kind of crazy too. And other fans will just show up if you don't show up. So it's just one of those where the team has the leverage because they're the ones with the product that you want to go see. And it's the postseason. It's the best time of the year. So yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, of course, we'd like those lower, but it is a business and they're just capitalizing on the demand of their product, which is a very entertaining and a must-watch product right now.
And my final thing for the night is we all know that the whole geolocator thing is on for, especially for the NLDS and also possibly the championship series. We know that, most likely it won't be on for the World Series per I would say per the rules of Major League Baseball. But do you think that, maybe if, obviously it looks like we're going to make the championship series, that, if the Padres hadn't started selling tickets yet, or even if we make the World Series, that do you think that, because a lot of, seems like they're trying to attract their, fans from Baja California and stuff. So do you think that, I'm just wondering your opinion. Do you think that the Padres should have, some sort of, like, I don't know, pre-sale or something that, goes to those fans first, and then obviously the local fans? Do you think, I mean, what would be your take on that if the Padres decided, oh, San Diego fans get second, or Baja fans, they get to buy the tickets first? What would be your, I just want to know your opinion on that, because a lot of it seems like they're trying to push, when the City Connect colors, it was supposed to be, Baja California and San Diego. So I wonder what your take on that would be.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be the same where season ticket holders, I believe what happens is you pay by round, like they charge you by round, but you renew for the next year. You get the postseason tickets for that year. Like you're guaranteed that opportunity. So they go to all the season ticket holders. They get tickets. Then they go to, I think, the wait list for the season tickets, and then you get like the pre-order, or the whatever it's called. You get that. So they'll go to them. Then they go to probably those that are like signed up to the Padres email, that aren't on the wait list. They're just fans. And then to the public. So by that time, with all those rounds, like pretty much all the seats are taken. And then if you want to pay the $200, then you can pay that. If you're in one of those areas, I think it would be, again, like this Dodger series where they'd go through that same process, because there's a bunch of New York fans. If it is New York Mets, same thing with the Phillies. And I don't want to sit here and be like, well, obviously we're moving on, because the Dodgers, they are a talented team, and the Padres could lose 2 in a row. I feel good, but I don't want to go out there and say, obviously, it looks like they're moving on. And same thing with the Mets. I don't want to say, obviously, it looks like they're moving on either, because the Phillies got one heck of a team. They've got one heck of a dangerous offense. So, yeah, to answer your question, I think it's just going to be the same process.
Yeah, and then one very last thing is earlier this year I went to Angel Stadium And I found out later that the Padres had actually, had a thing where members could, reserve a spot on the bus and they would drive you up to Angel Stadium and back. So do you think that, maybe the Padres, like, maybe, let's say, they make it to the World Series, the game is, the game is, let's say it's in New York. Do you think that I think I've heard of some teams doing this for, like, football, or some baseball teams doing this for spring training, but I'm wondering what your opinion. Do you think Padres fans would pay significant amount of money, like, where the Padres be like, hey, we will provide you airfare and, possibly in a hotel room for one of the games. You have to get your game tickets, and if you want to stay for the rest of the time, you would have to do that on your own. But do you think the Padres would pay? Do you think that Padres fans would pay something like that to go show up for the World Series? And then my second thing is I and I want your thing is next year. Obviously, Padres are going. What's two things? Padres are going to be playing the Dodgers. Do you think that Padres fans would pay for something like a bus to there? And also wondering is your opinion is I'm going to try and go to where the Athletics are playing in Sacramento. And do you like when I went last year for Oakland, surprising amount of Padres fans for the Bay Area? Do you think that Padres fans do you think that Padres fans might show up to some of those games?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the Padres fans have shown up really well on the road, and I think that's going to continue in the NLCS if they get there. Obviously, Dodger Stadium, I understand if there's not a lot of Padres fans there, I wouldn't. I have no desire to go to Dodger Stadium. Um, with the World Series stuff and the provided flights and all that, I don't think so. I don't think the Padres would do that. It takes a lot of time. I know that they had members, they had the opportunity to do a Boston trip that the Padres put together, but you had to sign up, I think, months in advance for that. That wasn't just some quick thing and it cost a lot of money, obviously. So they wouldn't do that for the postseason because, I mean, they have to reserve seats in that other ballpark, and the other ballpark's not going to give seats to Padre fans.
Yeah,
So that's what I would say on that. But
yeah. I was just wondering, do you think that basically like game tickets and basically like the tickets to the World Series would be excluded. They would just provide, they would just provide you to get out to the World Series. Do you think that, Padres fans would buy that? Because I've,
sure they'd buy it, but I don't think the Padres would put together that. I've never seen that. So I don't think they would. I think they just do the Gallagher Square, or maybe not Gallagher Square since it's the World Series. Maybe they'd put it on the jumbotron at Petco, and then any fans can come and watch it. And maybe they'd have a sold out Petco for that because it would be the World Series, and that would be pretty cool. That's probably what they would do for that. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But Vincent, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, and don't forget to check out our transit system, Metropolitan Transit System on Twitter to see some of the funny things they've been doing with Los Angeles. It's even if you're not a transit fan, it's highly recommend looking at it.
Yeah, for sure. All right. See you, man. Thanks for coming on. All right, let's go to Ditto. I'll go to him. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. I know he was on the other day. What's up, man? How's it going?
It's gone great after today.
For sure. Yep, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, watching that second inning was just unreal, honestly.
So much action. Yeah, especially being there for me. Like,
yeah, what was it like in the
was
stadium?
It was just nuts. I believe it was shaking a little bit again, like it was in the wild card series. It was just hard to process everything that was going on at that point. Obviously, like I said earlier, had a great view of Manny obstructing Freddie's throw there. He was clearly on the grass. They didn't call it. There's no review, so he gets to third. And then the little things with Merrill hustling into second base. And I had a great view of him being safe there. And I'm like, I knew it right there in the moment. Like, yep, he's safe. Just wanting it more than the Dodgers tonight in those little situations. And then obviously Nando's homer, the place goes absolutely nuts. If it was a dome, the roof would be off of it. Like it was so loud. Yeah, I tried to save my voice obviously for the show, so I wasn't screaming all night, but a lot of other people were. There was a lot of the Beat LA chants, and
Definitely. Yeah.
I saw. By the way, I saw an article today from Bill Shaken, I think, of the LA Times, pretty much like telling us why beat LA. Why are we continuing to do that? Don't we have bigger things to be aspiring for, essentially? And it's like we're in the middle of the series with the Dodgers, so yes, it's beat LA. If we weren't playing the Dodgers, then yeah, we wouldn't be doing that. It would be let's go Padres. But yeah, for now, it's beat LA. That's the big focus. And if LA people want to say, oh, rent free, which is totally incorrect, you don't know what rent free means, you can say that. But we don't care. Like, we're going to keep doing what we do. We have a series lead, and hopefully we're going to send you home tomorrow. And that's all there is to it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like, yeah, we're playing an LA team. Obviously, we're going to say beat LA. And then assuming like we play the Mets next series, we're probably going to say beat New York, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know what I feel like it's going to be more just let's go Padres. But
okay.
I mean, yeah,
I feel like
when we move, if we play the Mets or if we play the Phillies, whatever it's going to be, then our focus will be on beating that team. It won't be on the Dodgers anymore. We will enjoy that until that next series, and then when that next series starts, all the focus will be on that team. I don't know what to tell that LA Times guy. He went in the Padres team store as well to look at what stuff we were selling and how much the shirts were, and it was like, go worry about the Dodgers, man.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you watched this game on TV, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just wondering, for those that were watching on TV, like what that experience was tonight at Petco. Obviously, the A TV crew, the A Fox crew, the whole Ken Rosenthal stuff. So he was on the Dodgers side. He talked to Dave Roberts, didn't talk to Mike Schilt, but was he doing reports during the game on the Padres at all of any conversations he had? Or was it literally like Dodgers
really, just
the whole
kind
time?
of glazing the Dodgers, glazing Ohtani, just like, obviously when Teoscar hit that grand slam, he's like all over it. But then when like Fernando hits, he's like, oh, Fernando Tatis Jr. hits a 2-run homer. It just sounded pretty dead.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Honestly, thank God it was in Petco Park. Because I remember, like, game 2 in Dodger Stadium when he hit that homer, he just sounded like his soul left his body, or like he sounded like he saw a ghost when that happened.
I mean, I was literally I was smiling on the trolley, or before getting on the trolley today, watching that Tatis interview with Joe Davis, having to do that because obviously he's the Dodgers play-by-play guy, and it's like you shouldn't even be calling the series number 1, and now you have to interview the guy that's going to knock your team out of the playoffs. Hopefully, like that's hilarious.
Also,
you still got me? Oh
like,
yeah, go ahead.
Dave Roberts and all the Dodgers players like complaining about so much stuff before the game. In my opinion, I feel like that kind of screwed over their morale big time prior to the game.
It was wasted energy.
Like, and then
I mean,
I think
if you go listen to the Padres side, they say like we moved on Sunday. We're not worrying about that. And yeah, it was pretty obvious. I mean, you had Max Muncy talking about stuff before the game today about how the Padres bat flip 30 feet in the air on a single. And it's like, you guys are so focused on what we're doing. Focus on yourselves. You guys are down and you're going to get sent home tomorrow if you don't clean it up. Like, focus on you guys. And it was just a lot of wasted energy on things that didn't matter, things that did not matter. So yeah, I mean, poking the bear, wasted energy, that all goes towards the Padres, and we saw that tonight.
Sure. And then, like, yeah, I think Schilt before the game, he was asked about like, oh, what do you think of the Dodgers comments? He's just like, okay, I don't care what they're saying. We have a baseball game to play, and honestly, like, W Schilt for giving that response and just being pretty quiet about everything and locking in like you're supposed to.
Yeah, he's been good at limiting distractions.
Yeah, definitely.
What was that
limiting
question you were gonna have?
distractions. Well, I said like, did you see like Schilt's interview pregame about the Dodgers comments on us?
Yeah, I did. I believe I did. Yeah, and then at the end of it, like he paused. I think maybe he was waiting if there was going to be a follow up by the reporter, but he paused and then was like, "Yeah, Manny didn't throw it intentionally." Saying,
Yeah,
I'm not quoting him exactly, but like something like Manny's got a really good arm. I think we saw it on that triple
I
play. So
remember.
like just kind of trolling, digging it in on the Dodgers at the end there. Like he's funny.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, this game was pretty good for like everyone all around. Like even Cronenworth got a couple hits this game because I think this whole postseason he didn't have a single one. Right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, and this isn't like I don't think it might be, but I don't think this is like big postseason moment. Obviously, it wasn't like this 2022 Game 4 NLDS hit that he had, but it was pretty crucial, in that inning, him getting on base there before I think it was before Nando had that homer. If you don't have Crony on base there, and it's a solo homer, or actually, if he's not on base, you don't even get to Tatis. I don't think in that situation, or even if you do, it's a solo homer and that grand slam by Teoscar, the game's tied. And who knows if we're still
Yeah,
playing or what the approach is by both teams there. So yeah, Crony was big. It was a team, like I said earlier, it was what 7 out of the 9 guys in that big inning that they had helped in some way contribute to that inning. So talk about a team effort. That was totally a team effort tonight. The bullpen, um, yeah, everything.
yeah. Speaking of the bullpen, I think Robert Suarez. This might be his best game in a minute because he had a 4-out save today, and especially he had a couple changeup pitches that led to strikeouts.
Yeah, that was
So it's
encouraging
good
that
to
he
see
was
like
using that
Suarez.
pitch, like that he was comfortable enough to use that and not just, oh, it was in the dirt and he can't throw it for a strike, but I don't know if it was multiple times, but I know there was at least one that he threw for a strike. So, and I've said this before, it puts it at least in the Dodger hitters' minds that, oh, he could throw a changeup here. They're not just sitting fastball up and not even thinking about the changeup because, oh, he's not going to throw it. He can't throw it for a strike. I'll just eat it. No, like he could throw for a strike. He could get you there. Now, to Gavin Lux to end the game, it was what 101 on a fastball to get him. But maybe that's because Gavin Lux may have been
He
thinking
was
a little bit
expecting a
about a
slider.
changeup. Yeah,
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 changeup. Yeah. I mean, honestly, now I feel like because of this game alone, I feel like more confident with Suarez pitching as our closer now. Because last couple of months, like every time I saw Suarez come in, I would always get this uneasy feeling, like, oh, he'd blow a save similar to Josh Hader of last year. That's
yeah.
why.
Well, that's what those last few regular season outings. I know it's recency bias, but that's how we operate sometimes as humans, is we remember the most recent thing that happened, and it was Robert Suarez not instilling much confidence for us Padres fans because he was getting himself into trouble. And I bring up that Dodger game because it's who they're playing right now. That triple play, that's not
Yeah,
going to happen again
the
in
triple play, like
Padres
bailout.
franchise history, probably. Like, you just don't see that. He got bailed out. Otani was on deck, and the Padres were going to sink or, whatever that saying is, sink or swim with Robert Suarez on that in that moment.
Right
And
on.
luckily, it found Manny's glove. Manny was playing in, and he's able to start that triple play, and they clinch a postseason spot there. But it was just the like, oh no, this could happen here. Oh, that was bad. Well, we got through it, but I mean, it didn't look that great. So we just have that thought for us in our heads. But yeah, Robert, he's been pretty darn good this postseason. Has he allowed an earned run? If he has, I
I don't
totally forget it.
think he did.
Yeah, I don't think he has.
Because I know he played second game against the Braves. He didn't.
Yeah, he has
And
a
then
0
game 1 against
ERA.
the
So
Dodgers. Yeah, okay, there you go.
yeah.
Right.
All right. Thanks for coming
So
on,
I mean,
man.
I
I
feel
appreciate it.
a lot more confident.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Oh,
I do too.
is my time up?
My laptop is about to die, so I just wanted to get to the chat a little bit.
Oh,
You can stay on while I go through the chat if you want to.
okay. Can read it together.
All right,
One
I'm
step
gonna
at a
go up to
time.
the
Let's
top here.
go San Diego.
Um,
Definitely. Padres beating LA. Then we beating Mets. Okay. Then we beating Yankees in the World Series. All for
well,
keep.
Yankees, they've got a problem with the Royals. I mean, they've got to get that together. This is our year. Suarez is the
Yeah, I could
man.
agree with that. Like it just said.
Sad
Exactly.
day.
Sad day to be
Sad
Joe
day to be Joe
Davis.
Davis. Yeah, he had himself a night, huh? Rosenthal released the Peacock.
These chats are awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, Connor, for this. I appreciate that. Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate the kind words here. Derek, same thing. When the lights went out, I immediately turned into Michael Scott screaming no at the top of my lungs. Oh, because you didn't want Robert Suarez in the 8th inning in that spot? Interesting. See, like I have
mean,
the
that was in his
confidence in Suarez. Okay, so you
I mean,
wanted
yeah.
Tanner Scott. I would have been fine either way, to be honest.
Yeah, Tanner Scott or Jason Adam. Oh,
Well, Adam had already been picked. He already was used.
yeah, true. But I mean, like when
Devin
Suarez was
says,
in his slump, I wanted Adam as a
yeah,
closer.
yeah, for sure, yeah. Well, going into the playoffs, I believe I was saying that Jason Adam, he's our best reliever, right? Like he's the one I'm most confident in right now. That guy is nasty. I have Jason Adam right at the top with everyone. I mean, I think I put Scott, Suarez, and Adam pretty much on the same level at this moment, which is great because of the situations the Padres could find themselves in here in this postseason. Devin says Cease will be fine. I feel good about him pitching tomorrow. LFGSD.
Wow, we're going Perez though, right?
No, Cease, he's pitching on 3 days rest. That was announced after this game. Perez,
Oh,
I wouldn't be surprised if he pitches tomorrow. Like if they find a pocket
as
or
a reliever.
maybe they want Cease to get through the lineup a couple of times and then they want Perez to get through the lineup once and then they go to the rest of the bullpen because he's on the roster. I don't know why he'd be on the roster if they don't want to use him at all. I mean, you can't change your
Okay.
roster unless there's an injury. So maybe they put him on thinking that he was going to start game 4, but then now they're in this situation and they're like, we're at home. Let's go win this series. We'd rather have Cease on the mound over Perez. So let's just go do that. And things changed. Maybe that's what happened. But Perez, it's not like that's the worst option to go to after Cease tomorrow. Or you save him for a game 5 if Darvish doesn't have it and you need someone. Maybe you go to Perez there.
Okay.
But I feel like after Darvish, though, for a possible game 5, they would just go to the bullpen. And you're not going to put someone that hasn't pitched the entire series in game 5, I wouldn't think. You would just go with guys that you trust out of that bullpen in a must-win game. Your season's on the line.
I see.
Diego says Suarez's
we were
changeup
talking
versus
earlier.
Muncy was dirty. Yeah, that changeup, it's a good one.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, I still think back to 2022, how Bryce Harper laid off that changeup, how nasty that was. That was the best take of his life because then obviously he hits a homer, I think, the next pitch. Alfaro fired up the team for a while, though. Myers was the team. They both deserve it. Yeah, that would be cool to see Will because where I sit, I can see the tunnel and like I'm waiting for them to walk out to see who the first pitch is. And I saw the hair today, the long hair, and I'm like, who is that? Because I was expecting maybe like a San Diego legend. I wasn't expecting Jorge Alfaro to walk out, but that was cool when I did notice who it was. But yeah, if Will comes out tomorrow, I think the place would go nuts. I think Shiel Seidler would be a cool pick. I think Seidler's kids would be a cool pick. I think Trevor would be a cool pick. I think Joe Musgrove would be a cool pick. I don't care if he's throwing left-handed. Like I think he deserves a moment of love like that. Well, even if he throws right-handed, like he can't. I mean, underhand the ball even. Like I don't care. I'm just there for that moment. Like that would be cool. Let's see. Yeah, Ken did not go to the Padres dugout. Yeah, no.
Yeah, exactly. Like I saw it on TV.
Interesting.
He was avoiding it like the plague.
Yeah.
Like you want to interview a dead Dave Roberts. Like, okay,
Yeah.
just glazing the dog.
I saw he was interviewing Teoscar Hernandez after the Grand Slam too.
Yeah,
Didn't
of
want to
course he
interview
was.
Fernando after his home run.
Nope.
All right, last comment here. One step at a time. LFGSD. Go Padres.
Yes, sir.
Love PS.
Sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, that's a great way to end this. By the way, some partners of the show, Gagno and Bros, Famous Cheesesteaks, and Garlic Fries. Main location is on Friars Road. If you're going tomorrow to Game 4, they're inside Petco Park, down the third baseline, so check them out. They got cheesesteaks, garlic fries, cheesesteak fries. They've got a lot of great stuff there. Breaking Tea, they might be releasing some new Padres stuff. I assume they will after the Padres beat the Dodgers here in the division series, if that happens. Obviously, hoping that is tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. They did release a Profar shirt of him making that robbery of Mookie Betts in Game 2. So you can go purchase that. Click the link in the description there. Underdog 50% deposit match up to $1,000. Code Talking Friars. Same code, by the way, for SeatGeek if you're trying to look for tickets for tomorrow. Maybe there's going to be some late minute cheap tickets if someone is putting those up. Code Talking Friars. All the links there, obviously, are in the description. Ditto, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. And hopefully you have a good
Thanks for
night.
having me, man.
Hopefully, yeah, of
Love the
course.
channel.
Yeah, thank you so much. I hope that all you Padres fans out there are having a great night and we'll have a great day tomorrow as well. And I'll be live coming up after Game 4, regardless of the result, to hopefully talk about the Padres moving on to the NLCS. See ya.